You lift the glass. The candlelight trembles across the surface of the wine, dark, heavier than it should be. The room is quiet, too quiet. Silverware rests untouched. Someone exhales softly into a napkin. A chair creaks behind you, then stillness. The air smells of wax, roasted meat, and something else, bitter, metallic, almost hidden. Your fingers tighten. You drink. Warmth spreads first, then something colder. A slow weight in your throat. Not pain. Not yet. Your breath catches. You look up. No one reacts. They keep talking, smiling, avoiding your eyes. And suddenly, the thought arrives. Quiet. Precise. Something is wrong. If you feel it too, stay with this story. And tell me in the comments, what would you do right now? Because in Victorian London, poison was not rare, and dinner tables were not always safe. And if you want to experience more stories like this, slow, real, and dangerously close, subscribe and come back tonight. Because you are not just listening, you are here. This is not a horror story. This is history. The glass you already drank. The glass is still in your hand. You haven't set it down yet. The stem rests between your fingers, too light, too fragile, as if it doesn't belong to this moment. The candlelight trembles across the surface of the wine. Not red. Darker. Thicker. You feel it before you understand it. Something is wrong. A single drop clings to the rim of the glass. It does not fall. It stretches, holds, then slowly begins to move. Down. You watch it. You shouldn't be watching it, but you are, because your throat feels different. Not pain, not yet, just wait. A quiet pressure behind your tongue, like something waiting. You swallow again. It does not go away. Across the table, a man laughs, too loudly, too suddenly. The sound breaks the stillness, but not for long, because no one else joins him. Not really. They smile, they nod, but their eyes do not move, not toward you, not away from you, just still. You lower the glass, slowly, carefully, as if any sudden movement might reveal something you are not ready to see. The table stretches before you. White linen, silver cutlery, the soft glow of candlelight reflected in polished metal. Everything is perfect. Too perfect. There is no stain, no spilled wine, no broken glass, no mistake, and yet you feel it again. That quiet, creeping realization. Not in your body, in your mind. Something has already happened. A woman sits 2 places to your right. You did not notice her before. You should have. Her posture is still, her hands folded, her face calm. But her eyes, they are not calm. They are watching you. Not openly, not directly, but precisely enough that you feel it, like a weight on your skin. You look down at the glass again. The drop is gone. You did not see it fall. The smell reaches you now. Faint. Almost nothing. But once you notice it, you cannot unnotice it. Bitter. Metallic. Buried beneath wine and roasted meat and candle smoke. You inhale again. There it is. Still there. Tonight, you are sitting at a Victorian dinner table, and nothing here is accidental. Because in this city, poison is not a dramatic act. It is quiet, social, invisible. You shift in your seat. Your fingers tighten slightly around the edge of the table. The wood is smooth, polished, cold. It grounds you, for a moment. Then your throat tightens again. You glance toward the man across from you. He avoids your eyes. Not abruptly, not suspiciously. Just enough. Just enough that something inside you notices and remembers, because you have heard stories. Everyone has. They pass quietly, in conversation, never confirmed, never denied. A guest who fell ill after supper, a gentleman who collapsed before dessert, a widow who inherited everything before the candles burned out, and always the same explanation: bad food, weak heart, unfortunate timing, never poison, not officially. But there is a reason people whisper. There is a reason wine is sometimes left untouched. There is a reason certain invitations are accepted. Carefully. You are not careful. Your breath shortens. Not visibly, not yet, but enough that you feel it. A slight hesitation between inhale and exhale, like your body is reconsidering. You set the glass down. Finally, the sound is softer than it should be, muted, as if the room itself is absorbing it. No one reacts. The woman to your right lowers her gaze, not in surprise, not in concern, in recognition. You feel it then. Not fear, not yet. Something sharper, more precise, understanding, because in Victorian London, poison was not just a weapon, it was a language. And you are only now beginning to understand what has been said. A fork scrapes lightly against porcelain. The sound cuts through the room. Too loud, too clean, too final. You realize something else, something worse. No one is asking if you are well. The conversation continues. Soft, measured, controlled, as if nothing is wrong, as if everything is going exactly as planned. You try to swallow again. It is harder now, not painful, but resisted. Like your body is no longer cooperating fully. Your pulse shifts, not faster, not slower, just different. You look at your hands, they look the same, but they do not feel the same. There is a delay between intention and movement. Small, almost nothing, but enough. And that is when the thought finally forms. Clear, cold, unavoidable. You have already swallowed it. Not just the wine, something else. And whatever it is, it was never meant to be noticed. Tonight, you are not the first person to sit at this table. And you may not be the first to leave it differently. The candlelight flickers again. For a moment, the room shifts. Just slightly. You blink. And for a brief, quiet second, you are no longer certain who at this table is still a guest and who is waiting. Pause. Tonight, you are here, at this table, holding a glass you should not have trusted. And the worst part is, this is not where the story begins. It began long before you sat down, and it will not end when you try to stand up. This is not a horror story. This is history. The rules of the table. You do not leave your seat. Not yet. That would be noticed. And right now you are not ready to be noticed. Your hand rests beside the plate. Still. Too still. You force your fingers to move. Just slightly. Enough to look natural. Enough to pretend nothing has changed. The candle beside you flickers. The flame leans, then straightens. You watch it longer than you should, because it is easier than looking at people. Victorian dinners are not casual things. They are rituals. Precise. Measured. Every gesture means something. Every silence. More. You remember that now. Too late. A servant passes behind you. Soft steps. Barely audible. You catch the scent of starch and soap. Clean. Controlled. He does not stop. He does not ask if you need anything, because servants here do not interfere, not unless instructed. And tonight, no one has instructed him to notice you. A plate is placed gently before the man across from you. Roasted meat, still steaming. The smell fills the air. Rich, heavy, comforting. But underneath it, you catch it again. That faint metallic note. It wasn't just the wine. Your stomach tightens. Not in pain, in understanding. Because in this world, poison is rarely accidental. and it is almost never placed in only one thing. You shift your gaze across the table. Slowly, carefully. Who poured the wine? You try to remember. A hand. White glove. Steady. Unremarkable. Too unremarkable. Because that is how it works. In Victorian London, poison did not belong to shadows. It belonged to rooms like this. Warm. Elegant. Respectable. Arsenic. Strychnine. Laudanum. Names spoken quietly. If at all. You once heard a story. Not here. Somewhere else. A woman who added arsenic to her husband's tea. Not enough to kill him. Not at first. Small amounts. Over days. Weeks. He grew weaker. Paler. Slower. The doctor said it was fatigue, then nerves, then decline. By the time anyone questioned it, there was nothing left to question. No mark. No wound. No evidence. Only absence. You blink. The room shifts again, just slightly. You are still here, still seated, still breathing. But something is changing. Your fingers brush against the edge of the table again. The wood feels colder now, or maybe your hand is. You glance at the woman to your right. She is no longer looking at you. She is speaking softly to the man beside her. Her voice is calm, even, as if nothing has happened, as if nothing is happening. But you notice something now, something you missed before. No one is drinking, not really. Glasses are lifted, touched to lips, set back down. But no one swallows, not like you did. A slow realization unfolds. Careful, precise. This is not random. This is not a mistake. This is controlled. You feel your pulse again. It has changed. There is a delay, a hesitation, like your body is listening to something you cannot hear. You inhale. The air feels thicker. And then, a new thought, sharper than the last. What if it was meant only for you? The idea settles in, heavy, uncomfortable, because that would mean someone here chose you. A fork taps lightly against a plate. The sound echoes. Too loud, too deliberate. The man across from you finally looks up. Just for a moment. Your eyes meet. And in that moment, you see it. Not guilt, not fear, recognition. He knows. He knows something you don't. And he is waiting. For what? You don't know yet. But in Victorian society, death was not always the end of a story. Sometimes, it was the final act of one. You shift slightly in your chair, carefully. Tonight you're still at the table, still part of the ritual. But something has changed. You are no longer just a guest. You are the center of something no one is speaking about. And the rules of this table are not written anywhere you can read them. Tonight, you are still breathing, still aware, still trying to understand. But the question is no longer if something has happened. It is, why you, the host who never drinks? You look for the host, not suddenly, not obviously, slowly, as if your eyes are simply wandering, as if nothing inside you has changed. He sits at the head of the table. Of course he does. A man of calm posture, measured movements. Everything about him is controlled. His hands rest lightly beside his plate, not tense, not relaxed, perfectly placed. And his glass is untouched. You notice it immediately, because now you are looking for it. The surface of the wine is still, undisturbed. No ripple, no missing drop. He has not drunk. A small detail, easy to miss, unless you are looking for a pattern. And now, you are. The candlelight reaches his face, but never fully. It stops just short of his eyes. You cannot see them clearly, but you feel them. Watching. Not you, not anyone. Watching the table, watching the moment. As if this, all of this, is unfolding exactly as expected. Your throat tightens again. Slightly more this time. You swallow. It resists. The sensation lingers. You lower your gaze, just for a moment. The tablecloth is pristine, white, unmarked, no stains, no signs, because poison does not leave evidence where it is not meant to be found. You inhale again, carefully. The metallic scent is stronger now, or maybe you are just noticing it more, because once the mind accepts a possibility, it begins to confirm it. You remember another story, a dinner, not unlike this one, a guest who collapsed mid-meal. They said it was his heart. They always say that, but later, quietly, someone mentioned the wine, and how only one glass had been refilled. Only one. Your eyes lift again, toward your own glass. It is no longer full. You drank more than you thought, or less than someone intended. The difference matters. A soft sound reaches you, fabric shifting. The woman to your right stands, not abruptly, gracefully. Her chair slides back without a sound. She excuses herself, softly. No one stops her. No one questions it. She leaves the room, and as she passes behind you, you feel it. A presence. Close. Too close. Her scent lingers, faint, floral, but beneath it, something sharper, bitter. Your fingers tighten again. Was it her? The thought comes quickly, too quickly, which means you want it to be true, because it gives you something to hold on to, someone to blame. But the table remains calm, too calm. The host has still not moved. His glass remains untouched. And then, finally, he speaks. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough. A single sentence. You seem unwell. The words settle over the table, light, polite, but something underneath them is not polite at all. Every head turns, not toward him, toward you. And suddenly, you are no longer invisible. You are seen, fully, completely. Your breath catches. You try to respond, but your voice is slower than your thoughts. I'm fine. The words come out, but they do not sound convincing, not even to you. The host tilts his head slightly, studying, not concerned, interested, as if you are no longer a guest, but a result, a test, a question that has already been answered. The room waits, not for your recovery, for your next reaction. Because in this world, reactions reveal more than words, and you are beginning to understand something else, something colder. This dinner was never about food. It was never about conversation. It was never about you enjoying the evening. It was about control. And control requires observation. You feel your pulse again. It stumbles, just slightly, then corrects itself, but not perfectly, not like before. The host finally reaches for his glass. Your breath tightens. He lifts it, slowly, brings it toward his lips, stops, just before drinking, and then sets it back down, untouched. The message is clear. He will not share your fate. Tonight, you are still at the table, still breathing, still trying to understand. But now you know this. This was not random. And someone here is waiting to see what happens next. The taste they could not prove you, stop listening to the conversation. Not because it has ended, because it no longer matters. Voices continue around you, soft, measured, polite, but вони звучать далі, наче крізь тканину. Твоє тіло все ще сидить прямо. Still composed, still part of the table. Але всередині щось змінилося. You swallow again. This time, it hurts. Not sharply. Not enough to draw attention. But enough. Enough to confirm it. Something is happening. You press your tongue lightly against the roof of your mouth. Dry, strange, not like wine, the taste is gone. And that is worse. Because you expected it to stay. To warn you. But poison rarely warns. It disappears. And then it works. A servant refills a glass nearby. You watch carefully this time. The bottle tilts. Dark liquid pours, smooth, controlled. Nothing unusual, nothing visible, and that is exactly the problem. Because in Victorian London, the most effective poisons were the ones no one could see, or taste, or prove. You feel a slight tremor in your hand. You hide it. Fold your fingers tighter. Hold still. Because now you understand something else. If this is poison, then someone here knows exactly how long it takes, and how it looks, at each stage. You inhale, slowly. Your chest tightens, just slightly. And then, a memory surfaces. Not yours. A story. One people told quietly, one people were not supposed to repeat. Historical shock scene. A woman sits at her kitchen table. Not like this one, smaller, darker. Her husband is across from her, eating, talking, laughing. He trusts her. She stirs his tea, gently. The spoon moves in small circles. Once, twice, nothing unusual. She sets it down. He drinks. That night, he feels unwell. The next day, he feels worse. The doctor visits, checks his pulse, his breathing, his eyes. Fatigue, he says. A few days later, the man can no longer stand. His hands shake. His voice weakens. The doctor returns. Nervous condition, he says. More days pass. The man stops eating, stops speaking, stops responding. And then, he dies. Quietly, no struggle, no wound, nothing to examine, because the poison was arsenic, given in small amounts, over time, undetectable, unprovable, and by the time suspicion arrived, there was nothing left to find. Only a body, and a wife who never raised her voice. You blink, the room returns, the candles, the table, the people, still there, still calm, as if nothing like that could ever happen here. But now, you know it can. You look at your glass again, and suddenly, it feels heavier. Not physically, meaningfully, because now it is no longer just wine. It is a question. What was in it? And how much? Your pulse shifts again. Faster now, or maybe just more noticeable. You press your hand lightly against the table. Steady. Stay steady. Because if you lose control, they will see it. And if they see it, that means something. You don't know what yet, but you feel it. The rules here are precise, and breaking them has consequences. You glance toward the host again. He has not moved. Not really. But now, you notice something new. His attention is not on the conversation. It is on timing. Subtle. Precise. He checks you, then looks away. Checks again, then continues speaking. As if he is measuring something. Waiting. For what? You don't know yet. But you feel it. The shift is coming. And whatever is inside you is moving closer to something. A point. A moment. After which, things will not stay this controlled. Pause. Tonight, you are still sitting at the table. Still aware. Still trying to remain unseen. But now you understand something far more dangerous. This is not about whether you were poisoned. It is about how long ago it happened. The moment you move wrong. You decide to stand. Not quickly, not suddenly. Carefully. Your chair shifts beneath you. Just a fraction. But the sound is louder than you expect. Too loud. A soft scrape against the floor. Every head turns. Not sharply. Not dramatically. But together. And that is worse. Because it means you have broken something. Not a rule written anywhere. A rule everyone knows. You freeze, half standing, half seated. Your body hesitates. And for a moment, you are no longer in control of it. Your hand grips the table, harder than it should. The wood presses into your palm. You feel it. Delayed. A second too late. That delay again. Small, but undeniable. Your breath shortens. You try to correct it, slow it down. But now, you are aware of it, and that makes it worse. Because once you notice your breathing, you cannot stop noticing it. In. Pause. Out. Longer pause. Too long. Your chest tightens. Just slightly. But enough. Enough that your body reacts. Your shoulders shift. A small movement. Too visible. The man across from you watches. Not openly, but precisely enough. You see it. That flicker. That moment of confirmation. He expected this. You lower yourself back into the chair. Slowly. Carefully. As if nothing happened. But something did. And now, they know it. You feel a bead of sweat form near your temple. It moves slowly. Down. You don't wipe it. You can't. Not without drawing attention. Your fingers twitch slightly. You stop them. Force stillness. But it takes effort now. Too much effort. And effort is visible. A servant approaches again. You hear him before you see him. Soft steps. Measured. He stops beside you. More wine, sir? The words are quiet. Polite. Neutral. But something underneath them is not neutral at all. Your eyes lift. You look at the bottle, then at the glass, then at him. His expression does not change, but his eyes, they wait. Not for your answer, for your choice. Because this is a test. You understand that now. A simple one. Drink again, or refuse, either way. It reveals something. You hesitate too long, and hesitation is also an answer. I'm fine. The words come out. But your voice is wrong, slightly slower, slightly thinner. The servant nods, moves on, but not before. You catch it. A glance. Quick. Toward the host. And the host, almost imperceptibly, nods back. Your stomach tightens. That was not random. That was communication. Silent. Practiced. You are not imagining this. This is structured. Organized. You press your fingers against your wrist. It stutters. Then rushes. Then slows. Irregular. Unstable. You breathe in sharply. Too sharply. The air catches. Your throat resists again. Stronger now. You swallow. It hurts. Just enough. Your vision shifts. Not dramatically, but the edges soften, blur. You blink. It corrects. For now. But that is new. That was not there before. And that means it is progressing. Whatever is inside you is moving, working. You glance toward the door. Still closed. Still far. Too far. You calculate it. Distance, time, movement. Could you reach it? Stand, walk, open, leave. Before what? Before it gets worse? Before they stop you? Before your body stops you? You don't know. And that is the problem. Because now, every second matters. And you do not know how many seconds you have left. The conversation continues. Someone laughs again. Too normal. Too controlled. You are inside something that has already been decided, and you were not part of that decision. Pause. Tonight, you are still sitting, still breathing, still aware. But now, you have made your first mistake. You moved, and they saw it. The body that turns against you. You stop trying to look normal. Not completely, but enough. Because maintaining control now costs too much. Your hand slides slightly across the table. You didn't mean to move it. It just moved. A delay again. Between intention and action. Longer this time. Your fingers press into the linen. You feel the texture, but not immediately. A second late. Always a second late. Your breath changes. Not faster. Shallower. You inhale, and it does not feel complete. Like the air stops before it reaches where it should. You try again. Deeper. It resists. Your chest tightens. A quiet pressure builds. And now, you cannot ignore it. This is no longer subtle. This is progression. You look down at your hands again. There is a faint tremor now. Small, but constant. You press them flat against the table. Hold them still. Force control. But control is slipping. Not suddenly. Gradually. Precisely. As if something inside you is following a plan. You look up. The host is watching again. Not your face. Your hands. Your breathing. Your timing. He is not concerned. He is observing. Like a physician. Or something worse. You feel a tightening in your throat again. Stronger now. You swallow. And for a moment, it doesn't work. The motion fails. Stops halfway. You freeze. Then it passes. Barely. You inhale sharply. Too sharply. A mistake. The sound is louder than it should be. Heads turn. Again. But this time, longer. You have crossed something. A threshold. They see it now. Not fully, but enough. Enough to confirm that something is happening. And that something is you. A memory surfaces. Unwanted but clear. A man collapses in a courtroom. Not violently, not dramatically, just slowly. His hand slips from the bench. His knees follow. He does not scream. He cannot. Because his throat has locked. His chest tightens. His breathing shortens. The room panics. Voices rise. The doctor rushes forward. Feels his pulse. Irregular. Unstable. He tries to speak. But his jaw tightens. His muscles resist. Every movement becomes harder, then impossible. Strychnine. A poison known for control, not speed. It does not kill immediately. It lets the body fight itself. Muscles contract. Refuse to release. Breathing becomes effort, then struggle, then failure. And the worst part, the man remains aware. Until the very end. You blink. The table returns. But something is different now. The air feels tighter, heavier. Your chest does not expand fully. Not anymore. You try again. Breathe in. It stops halfway. Your shoulders tense. You force it. It hurts. A sharp edge now. Not just pressure. Pain. You press your hand against your chest. Subtle. Controlled. But visible. You know it is visible. The woman who left has returned. She stands at the doorway, watching. Not entering yet, just watching. Her silhouette is still, her face unreadable, but her timing is exact. She came back now. Not before, not later. Now. When your breathing changed, your pulse stutters again. Faster now. Then slower. Then wrong. You feel it in your neck. A pounding that does not follow rhythm. You swallow again. It hurts more. Your throat tightens. Not closing, but preparing to. And suddenly, the realization hits harder than anything before. This is not poison that ends quickly. This is poison that lets you feel it. Step by step. Stage by stage. Your fingers curl slightly, without your permission. You force them open. They resist. Then obey. Barely. You look at your hands. They are no longer fully yours. Not completely. Not reliably. The host finally leans back slightly. Satisfied, just slightly. As if he has seen enough to confirm something. You don't know what. But you know this. Whatever is happening to you is happening exactly as expected. Pause. Tonight, you are still alive. Still aware. Still trying to hold control. But now, your body has joined the story, and it is no longer listening to you. The door that does not open. You decide to leave, not as a guest, not anymore, as someone who understands that staying is worse. You place your hand on the table, push, slowly, carefully. You rise. This time, you do not hesitate. Your chair slides back. The sound is louder now. You don't care. You cannot afford to care. Your legs hold. For a moment, you are standing. The room shifts, not violently, just enough. The edges blur again. The candles stretch, then settle. You take a step. The floor feels wrong, not unstable. Delayed. Your foot touches down a fraction too late. Your balance corrects. Barely. Another step. Your breathing tightens again. Short. Controlled. Forced. The door's ahead. Dark wood. Brass handle. Simple. Close. Too close. You can reach it. You know you can. You move again. A third step. Your fingers twitch. Your hand lifts slightly. Not fully under your control. You force it down. Focus. Just reach the door. That is all that matters. Behind you. The conversation has not stopped. Not even slightly. No raised voices. No concern. No interruption. As if your movement is expected. As if it is part of the evening. You reach the door. Your hand rises. Touches the brass. Cold. Real. Solid. You grip it. Turn. It resists. You press harder. Turn again. Nothing. The handle does not move. A lock. You didn't notice it before. Of course you didn't. Because you weren't supposed to. Your breath shortens again. You pull. Harder. The door does not open. Behind you. A chair moves. Softly. You stop. Not because you choose to. Because your body pauses. A delay again. Longer now. You turn. Slowly. The host is standing. Not rushed, not alarmed. Simply standing. As if this was always the next step. His hands rest behind his back. His posture perfect. His expression calm. Too calm. You should sit. The words are quiet. But they are not a suggestion. You feel it. That shift in the room. Subtle, but absolute. The conversation has stopped. Not loudly, but completely. All eyes are on you now, not hidden, not indirect, direct, focused, watching. Your chest tightens again. Harder. You try to breathe. It catches. Stops. Then forces through. Pain now. Sharp. You grip the door harder. Your fingers do not feel right. Too stiff. Too slow. You look at them. They do not respond immediately. You try to release. They hesitate. Then open. Barely. Your body is no longer reliable, and they know it. The host takes a step forward. Measured. Unhurried. You will only make it worse. The words land differently. Not threatening. Not loud. Certain. As if he knows exactly what worse means. You try to speak. Your voice does not come out fully. I need... The words break. Fragment. Your throat tightens. Stronger now. Your chest contracts. You inhale. And it fails. For a moment. Nothing comes in. Your body reacts. Sharp. Immediate. A reflex. Your shoulders rise. Your head tilts slightly back. Your mouth opens. But the air does not follow. Then it releases. Suddenly, you inhale sharply. Too sharply. The sound fills the room. No one moves. No one helps. Because this is what they are waiting for. The stage, the progression. You understand it now. This is not chaos. This is observation. Controlled, precise. You step back from the door. Not by choice. Because your balance fails slightly. Your foot misplaces. Your body corrects. Too late. You catch yourself on the table. Your hand slams against it. The sound breaks the silence. Finally. But only for a second. Because the silence returns. Stronger. Heavier. Final. Pause. Tonight, you tried to leave. You reached the door. You touched it. You turned it. And it did not open. Because leaving was never part of the plan.
The moment you stop controlling your hands, you step away from the door, not by decision, by failure. Your balance shifts again. Too slow. Too late. Your hand reaches for the table, misses slightly, then finds it. Hard. The odor echoes. Your fingers spread across the surface. You try to pull them back. They don't respond. Not immediately. There is a pause, a gap. Then they move, but not smoothly, not naturally, as if each movement is being negotiated. Your breath tightens again. Short, sharp. You inhale, and your chest stops halfway. A wall. Invisible, unavoidable. You force it. It hurts now. A real pain, not just pressure. Your shoulders tense. Your neck stiffens. You feel it. Spreading. Not fast, but certain. You try to straighten. Your body resists. Your back tightens. Your jaw clenches. Without your permission, you try to speak. Your teeth do not separate fully. A sound escapes. Broken. Unclear. You feel your pulse. In your neck. In your temples. Too fast. Then too slow. Then wrong. The room watches. Not with panic. With attention. Focused. Hungry. Because now, this is no longer subtle. Now, it is visible. A memory cuts through. Sharp, clear, unavoidable. A woman is brought into a hospital, not screaming, not fighting, rigid. Her body is arched, back pulled tight, arms locked, fingers curled into unnatural shapes. Her jaw clenched, eyes open, fully aware. She cannot speak. She cannot relax. Every muscle is engaged, every nerve firing. The doctors surround her. They know this. They have seen this. Strychnine, a poison that does not silence the body. It forces it into tension, into resistance, into exhaustion. The smallest sound, a footstep, a voice, a breath, triggers another wave. The body convulses, arches, fights itself, and the mind remains, watching until the body can no longer continue. You inhale, and your chest locks, just for a second. But that second is enough. Your body reacts. Your shoulders pull slightly back. Your spine tightens.
Not fully. Not yet. But beginning. You feel it spreading. Not pain. Control loss. You try to move your hand again. It twitches. Not as you intend. A sharp, small motion. Uncontrolled. You freeze. Because now, you understand something worse. This is not weakness. This is interference. Your body is receiving signals, and they are no longer yours. The woman near the door steps forward now, slowly, finally entering the room again. Her footsteps are soft, measured, timed. She stops just inside, watching you. Closer now. You see her face, calm, almost curious, as if she is observing something rare, something precise. Your breathing tightens again, faster now, then stops, then forces through. Your chest jerks slightly. Visible now. You hear a chair move. Someone shifts, not to help, to see better. The host remains still, watching, always watching. You try to step. Your leg responds, but too hard, too sudden. You overcorrect. Your balance shifts. You catch yourself again. Barely. Your hand slams the table, again. This time, you don't control the force. The zvuk echoes. Louder. Final. And now, there is no pretending. You are no longer a guest. You are an event. A process. Something unfolding in front of them. Your jaw tightens again. You try to open it. It resists. You force it. A small gap forms. Enough. Enough to breathe. For now. But not for long. You feel it. That progression. Stage by stage. Exactly as designed. Exactly as expected. Pause. Tonight, your body is still moving, still reacting, still fighting. But now, it is no longer following you. The reason? They chose you. You stop trying to move. Not because you want to, because it no longer helps. Your body responds, but incorrectly. Too much force. Too little control. Too late. Every action is delayed, then exaggerated. Your fingers curl again. You watch them. They do not feel like yours anymore. You open them, slowly, with effort. They resist, then release, barely. Your breathing shifts again. Short, broken. You inhale. It stops. You wait. It continues. Not by choice, by reflex. Your chest tightens. Stronger now. Each breath costs something. And now, you feel fear. Not the quiet realization from before. Something deeper, colder, more precise. Because now, you understand this is not random. This was planned. For you. You look up. The room is clearer now. Not because your body is improving, because your mind is focusing, narrowing, everything unnecessary fades. Only what matters remains. The host, the woman near the door, the man across from you, and the table. Always the table. You scan it again. This time, you notice something new. The glasses. Not identical. Not exactly. Subtle differences. Thickness. Shape. Cut. You didn't see it before because you weren't looking. But now, you are. And now, it matters. Your glass is slightly different. Only slightly. But enough. Enough to identify it. Enough to control it. A realization forms. Cold, precise. This was never about chance. This was selection. You, specifically. You feel your pulse again. Unstable. Wrong. But your mind is clearer than before. And that is the worst part. Because now, you can think. And thinking leads to questions. Why you? You search your memory. Not long ago. An invitation. Unexpected. Formal. Carefully written. You almost didn't accept. Almost. But something about it felt important. Felt like opportunity. You accepted. And now, you are here. At a table where nothing is accidental. Your throat tightens again. Stronger. You swallow. It hurts. Sharp now. You press your hand against your chest. Subtle, but visible. You don't care anymore. They already know. You look at the host again. This time, he does not look away. Your eyes meet. And for the first time, you see it clearly. Not curiosity, not observation, recognition. He knows you understand. And that changes something, because now the game shifts. You are no longer just reacting. You are aware, and awareness is dangerous. A memory surfaces. Not a story this time, a fact, a quiet truth people avoided. In Victorian London, poison was not always used to kill. Sometimes it was used to prove something: loyalty, silence, obedience, or betrayal. You feel it now. Not just in your body, in the room, in the way they watch you, in the way they wait. This is not just about death. This is about meaning. Your reaction matters. Your control matters. How long you last matters. And suddenly, you understand something worse. This is not the first time this has happened before. At this table, with someone else. Your breath catches again. Harder this time, your chest tightens. Your body reacts. A sharp pull in your back. You stiffen. Just slightly. But enough. You feel it spreading. The same pattern, the same progression. Exactly as designed. You try to speak again. Your voice is barely there. Why, the word breaks, falls apart. But it is enough. The host tilts his head slightly, considers you. And then, quietly, he answers. Because you accepted. The words land softly. But they cut deeper than anything before. Because they are true. Because they are simple. Because they mean. This was always going to happen. From the moment you said yes. Pause. Tonight, you are still alive. Still aware. Still thinking. But now, you know why you are here. And that knowledge comes too late. The last thing they wait for you, stop trying to hide it. There is no reason left. Your body is no longer subtle. Your shoulders tense again. Harder. Your spine pulls slightly backward. You fight it. You force yourself forward. But the tension remains. Your breath comes in fragments now. Short. Sharp. Each inhale, a struggle. Each exhale, unfinished. You feel the air stop in your chest, then force through. Pain follows. Real pain. Not imagined. Not distant. Immediate. Your hands move again, not smoothly, not under your control. A sharp twitch, then stillness, then another. You grip the edge of the table. Hard. Too hard. Your knuckles pale. The pressure is real. But the sensation, delayed. Always delayed. The room watches. Closer now, not physically, but in focus. Every eye is on you. No one speaks. No one moves. Because this is the moment they have been waiting for. You feel it. Not just in your body, in the air, in the silence. This is the edge. You try to straighten again. Your body resists. Harder now. Your back tightens. Pulls. Your chest expands. Then locks. You inhale. Nothing. A second. 2. Your body reacts instantly. A violent need for air. Your mouth opens. Your shoulders rise. You force it. The air comes. But not enough. Never enough. Your heart pounds. Irregular. Uncontrolled. Too fast. Then, too slow. You feel it in your throat. A heavy pulse. Wrong. Everything is wrong. A memory breaks through. Stronger than the others. More real. More immediate. A man is laid on a bed. His body is rigid. Fully. Arched. His back lifted off the mattress. Only his head and heels touch the surface. His muscles are locked. Every fiber engaged. His jaws clenched. Teeth pressed so hard, they crack. His eyes are open. Wide. Aware. He tries to speak. Nothing comes out. His chest rises. Stops. Shakes. The doctor stands beside him. Helpless. Because he knows this. He has seen it before. Strychnine. A poison that does not numb. It amplifies. Every signal. Every reflex. Until the body becomes its own enemy. A sound in the room, a footstep, a whisper, triggers another spasm. The body jerks, hard, violent, then locks again. And the worst part, the man remains conscious. Until the very end. You inhale, your chest stops. Hard. Not halfway. Almost completely. Your body reacts instantly. A sharp pull. Your back tightens. More. Stronger. You feel it. The beginning of that same pattern. You try to move. Your arms resist. Your fingers curl. Tight. Unnatural. You force them open. They barely respond. Your jaw tightens. You try to speak. It doesn't open fully. A sound escapes. Broken. Small. You are losing it. Not awareness. Control. The host steps closer. Finally. Slow. Measured. He stops just a few steps away. Close enough now. You see his face clearly. Calm. Composed. Certain. He studies you. Not with emotion. With precision. Like a man watching something reach its final stage. You see it now. The words are quiet. You try to respond. Your voice barely exists. You. It breaks. He nods. Slightly. Yes. No explanation. No denial. Just confirmation. Because he doesn't need to explain. You already understand. This was not an accident. This was not anger. This was not impulse. This was design. And now, you are at the end of it. Your breath fails again. Longer this time. You feel the panic rise. Sharp. Immediate. You fight it. You try to stay still. Because you remember. Movement makes it worse. Sound makes it worse. Everything makes it worse. So you hold still. You freeze. You wait. For the next breath. For the next second. For anything that proves you are still in control. But control is already gone. Pause. Tonight, you are still alive. Still aware. Still fighting. But now, you have reached the edge. And whatever happens next, you will feel it. The glass you saw too late. The glass is still on the table, exactly where you left it. You see it again. Clearer now. Not because your vision improved, because your mind did. The surface of the wine is still. No ripple, no movement. As if nothing ever happened. But you know better. You remember it now. Not as a feeling. As a sequence. The moment you lifted it. The way the candlelight touched the liquid. That slight hesitation before you drank. You felt something then. A pause. Small. Almost nothing. And you ignored it. Because nothing looked wrong, nothing smelled wrong, nothing warned you. That was the design. You focus on the rim of the glass. Your breath is shallow now, barely there. But your thoughts are sharp. You see it again. The drop. That single drop that held for just a second too long. You didn't question it. You didn't need to. Because you trusted the setting, the table, the people, the ritual. That was the mistake. Not drinking. Trusting. Your chest tightens again. Hard. You hold still. You know now. Movement will make it worse. You have learned. Too late. Your body trembles. Small. Constant. Your fingers no longer listen fully. Your jaw resists. Your breathing is measured in fragments. But your mind is steady. And that is what they wanted. You look around the table again. This time, you see everything. The glasses. Each one slightly different. Placed deliberately. Assigned. The servants. Moving in patterns. Silent signals. Glances exchanged. The woman near the door. Never early. Never late. Only precise. And the host. Always still. Always watching. Always waiting. You understand it now. This was never about killing you quickly. That would be easy. Too easy. This was about something else. Control. Observation. Confirmation. You were not meant to die immediately. You were meant to progress. To react. To reveal. To show them something. What? Your limits. Your awareness. Your understanding. Your silence. You try to speak again. Your voice barely forms. Why? The word fractures, but it exists. It leaves you. And this time, the host answers fully. Not just a word, a sentence. Because you noticed, the room remains silent. The meaning settles. Heavy. Final. You think back. Moments before the drink. Small details. The glass, the hand, the drop, the smell. You noticed them. You did nothing. That was enough. Because in a room like this, noticing is already too much. You feel your chest tighten again. Stronger. Your breath stops. Longer this time. You hold still. You know now. Panic will make it worse. You wait. For the air to return. For the body to respond. It does. Barely. Enough. Enough. For one more moment. One more realization. The glass is still there. Unmoved. Untouched. As if it is waiting for the next person. Because there will be a next person. There is always a next person. And they will sit. And they will drink. And they will not notice. Until it is too late. Just like you. Pause. Tonight, you remember everything. The moment. The choice. The mistake. And now, you understand it. Completely. But understanding does not change the outcome. The seat that is never empty. You stop fighting. Not suddenly. Not dramatically. Gradually. Because your body has already made the decision. Your breath comes in fragments now. Short. Incomplete. Each inhale, a negotiation. Each exhale, a loss. You remain standing. Barely. Your hand still touches the table. Not for balance. For connection. The last solid thing that still feels real. Your fingers press into the wood. You feel it. Delayed. But you feel it. That is enough. For now. You look at the host again. He does not move closer. He does not need to. Everything that needed to happen has already happened. You understand. The words are not a question. You try to answer. But your voice is no longer reliable, so you nod. Slightly, barely. But it is enough. Because this was always about understanding, not survival. The room exhales, not loudly, not visibly, but something shifts. The tension changes. Not gone. Completed. A servant steps forward, carefully. He does not rush. He does not panic. He simply arrives. At the right moment. Always the right moment. He places a hand lightly against your arm. Not to help. To guide. Your body responds too slowly. but it responds. You allow it. Because resistance no longer matters. He leads you back to the chair. The same chair. Your chair. You sit, not gracefully, not fully controlled, but seated, returned, as if the movement to the door never happened, as if leaving was never possible. The glass is still there, closer now, waiting. You look at it one last time. The surface is calm, perfect, innocent, and you finally understand the last part. It was never just about poison. It was about silence. A death that does not interrupt the room, a process that does not disturb the ritual, a removal that leaves everything else intact. You feel your chest tighten again. Hard. Longer this time. You inhale. Nothing. A pause. Longer than before. Your body reacts, but slower now. Weaker. Your shoulders rise, then fall. Your head tilts slightly forward. Your vision narrows, the edges darken, the candlelight stretches, then dims. You hear something. Not voices, not movement, just distance, as if the room is moving away from you, or you from it. The host watches, still, precise, until the very end. You try to breathe again. A final attempt. It fails. Your body softens. Not violently, not dramatically. Just stops. And for a moment, everything is still. No panic, no raised voices, no disruption. A servant steps forward, checks your pulse, waits. Then, a small nod. The host lifts his glass. For the first time, he drinks. Slowly, calmly, as if the evening has finally reached its proper conclusion. The conversation resumes. Soft, measured, controlled, as if nothing happened. Your chairs adjusted slightly, your position corrected, your presence reduced. And the table continues. Because it always does. Another plate is served. Another glass is filled. Another guest will arrive. The glass remains. Cleaned. Reset. Perfect. Waiting. Because in Victorian London, some tables were never meant to be safe. Only precise. Only quiet. Only effective. And the seat you occupied tonight will not stay empty for long. Long pause. Tonight, you sat at the table. You noticed. You understood. You stayed. And that was enough. This is not a horror story. This is history.